Hey Sagittarius, welcome to your week ahead astrology forecast by Astrology Motivation. In these weekly videos, I review the major planetary aspects and transits and how those aspects and transits and planets are going to be aspecting your natal sun and what that means for your bottom line. I start out really broad with the big stuff, the general energies for the week, and then I'll focus things down into Sagittarius specific energy, and then I'll break everything down into the 3 decans or groups of 10 degrees of Sagittarius so that I can tell exactly how your natal suns based on your birthday are really being impacted by this energy, because not all Sagittarians are going to be experiencing the same thing. So let's start out with the big stuff. The big stuff is, this is for the week of September 19th to the 25th of 2019. The big stuff, the biggest stuff is that Libra season begins. Libra season begins technically on the late at night on the 22nd of September, or early in the morning on the 23rd, depending on where you are on the globe. This is when Libra season kicks off fall, because the autumnal equinox is also here, happens right around the same time. So that's when the daylight hours and the nighttime hours, the sun above the horizon line and below horizon line, is equal. So that happens in the spring as well. But this is such a perfect beginning to Libra season. And Libra is the zodiac sign of balance. Balance and harmony as in equal parts. Not that everything is the same. That's not the same thing as equality, right? Libra understands more than anything that a ton of bricks and a ton of feathers weighs the same while maintaining their own unique characteristics. So it's the importance. Libra will always be able to see and find balance in the importance of things to harmonize situations. This is exceptionally important energy, especially since our south node is in Libra and our north node is in Aries. The balancing between a connection to others, intimate partnerships, and our sense of individuality and uniqueness and being able to be on our own. They are not in competition with each other, Sagittarius. They are in fact one in the same, because it's all about value systems and learning that all of these things, both of these things, have value and actually glean value from each other. So value systems, of course, are dictated by the Venus energy. Venus rules Libra. It also rules Taurus. So we're gonna talk a little bit about what Venus is doing, simply because there's a lot of Venus stuff happening right now. But let's get into the rest of the impact of the big stuff. The sun is in opposition to Neptune all week long, and this can be pretty difficult energy, because it's about deception or being easily deceived or easily distracted so that somebody can deceive you easily. Self-deception can be very big around this time too. What are the lies that I've believed in order to make things easier and prettier for myself? What have I believed when I shouldn't have, because I haven't used discernment well enough? All of those situations can come up in this energy. The sun is also trine to Pluto, which means it wants dynamic change. It has a powerfulness to it right now that is impactful, as well as says a quadrate to Jupiter, which is just giving it sort of a more grandiosity, maybe more grandiosity than it can handle right now. And perhaps that is the way Pluto is changing things. Mars is in opposition to Chiron all week long, which can bring about a sense of sterility or lack of vitality, a sense of I can't do anything right. I always make up. I always make mistakes. Maybe even more risk of injury as well. There is a discouraging factor here, since Mars for a lot of the week is also says a quick quadrate to Saturn, which is semi-square to Chiron as well. Very discouraging energy when it comes to being able to move move forward, always feeling restricted, especially from one's own mistakes. And so there's this leveling out that we need of perception, because mistakes aren't mistakes unless we don't learn from them, right? There's a sense of mistakes are lessons if we learn from them. So we have to change the way that we perceive the things that we've been through and the lessons we're trying to be taught. Like, we're not making any movement now. We are, especially if we're learning. Then we have Venus. Venus is interacting with so many energies this week. She is square to Jupiter, which is very big, decadent, optimistic, joie de vivre kind of energy. And anybody specifically ruled by Venus or you have strong Venus placements in your chart, you could be easily overindulging now. Easily just want all those sensual pleasures to help live it up. It's important to watch how much money you spend in this energy. We also have Venus, however, trine to Chiron, which is very grounding energy, a sense of learning from one's mistakes and learning how to adjust value systems based on what you know works for you and what you don't, being able to heal from your sense of self-worth and value. We also have Venus sextile to Mars all week long, still sexy, virile energy, flirtatious energy, sensual energy. But this week, something else happens to Venus, and she squares up Uranus once again. Now, a couple months ago when she was in retrograde, this happened, and I talked to you guys about it as the Midsummer Night's Dream kind of energy. It's like everything toppling over and standing on its head in order to set itself right. And that's really what she's doing. She's sort of mixing it up and casting herself out of her normal mold in order to find and discover what is more uniquely her, what she could value, like finding value in weird things and not wanting the same normal stuff. This could shake up relationships, but it also, I think, in a challenging way, like it'll challenge relationships. Do you respect each other's personal identity? Do you respect each other's unique individuality? And how respecting each other's individuality and autonomy can actually strengthen the relationship, and how it can encourage partnership in more fun, outside of the box ways. So this is a time to be very exploratory if you're with a partner, to be open to new things and new adventures and new sensual pleasures. We also have Saturn coming into contact with the nodes, which is Saturn's trine the south node and sextile to the north node. What that means is that there is this energy of maybe the changing of the tides when it comes to what is prioritized, what is law, what is set in stone and what is not set in stone. We could start seeing a shift in terms of that kind of legal or authoritative criteria. We could start seeing a shift there. So let's get into Sagittarius specific energy, shall we? For Sagittarius specific energy, I look at what's happening in Sagittarius, the zodiac sign, and that is nothing. Nothing major is happening in Sagittarius right now. I also look at what's going on with your ruling dignitary, which is Jupiter. Now, Jupiter is very active right now. It's in retrograde. It's going to retrograde between 15 and 14 degrees Taurus this week. It is trine to Mercury all week long, which is having a lot to say and having the opportunity to say it, and being very playful, fun, and interesting when it comes to speech. Even in some ways, learning a foreign language, learning a different language, learning through language about another culture, reading and exploring different philosophies. All of this is very educational opportunity. Harmony when it comes to listening and hearing new things. Or great new information coming into your life. We also have that square to Venus, which gives us that joie de vivre, kind of happy, yeah, let's have fun type of energy. It's just watch for the overindulgence, especially with the sensual pleasures, wine, food, and money, spending, overeating. That is normal in this energy. And then we have a sesquiquadrate to the sun, This is not a major aspect, but because of everything else that's going on, this sense of big-headedness and rushing things and being a little too overly confident could create impulsivity for you that will have you overspending and overreaching when you shouldn't. And especially with that trine to Mercury, maybe in some ways over-promising as well. Just an FYI. Just an FYI. Let's break things down into the 3 decans of Sagittarius. So if you know that your natal sun is located between 0 and 9 degrees Sagittarius, it's in the first decan of Sagittarius. You guys are Sagittarius ones. This correlates to Sagittarian birthdays on the Scorpio cusp. So that would be, say, November 22nd all the way through December 1st. So basically November Sagittarians. Your natal suns have a long-term square to Saturn. So there has been conflict and headbutting when it comes to your commitments, contracts you've signed, rules, laws, feeling of restrictions, and not really being able to spread your wings. That is trying to force you to learn and grow so that you can break out of those boxes. That's a year-long challenge for you because that aspect lasts for a year. We also have a sextile to the sun this week, so that's very optimistic energy, and you will have a chance to be seen. You'll have the courage to be seen, to be heard, to be confident, and to be really charismatic this week, which can bring in a lot of attention. If you know how to use it, this is huge opportunity. We also have a semi-square to Mars, which can be sort of that thorn in your side about process. What about process? What about taking action? Or that things might piss you off a little bit more. You might be a little bit more pop-offish this week. So that's just something for you to remember when you're interacting with people. Let's move on to Sagittarius 2. If you know that your natal sun is between 10 and 19 degrees Sagittarius, it's in the second decan of Sagittarius. You guys are Sag 2s. So this correlates to birthdays between December 2nd and the 11th, in and around that time span of birthdays. We have a sextile to Mars, which means there's a lot of energy and vitality hitting your sun. Mars is in pretty complex aspects this week, though, just as an FYI. But ultimately, it's still going to be impacting your sun in the way that it gives you some stamina and some vitality, a sense of wanting to be more physical or being more assertive and being more confident in your assertions. We also have a long-term trine to Chiron, which means healing that sense of self, healing where your self-esteem may have been damaged, being able to repair those things or give yourself that time for healing that you need. That's long-term over the next couple of years. And I've said this to you before, especially since Chiron is in Aries, there is that sense of maybe physical healing, you know, and figuring out different ailments that you may have had, like healing those things over the next couple of years. This week, we have a square to Mercury and a trine to Venus. So this trine to Venus is going to make us very, very romantic and very optimistic. And the Sun trine Venus is just so flowery and poetic and graceful and attractive. This is a wonderful time to just let yourself indulge in how beautiful you feel or attractive you feel. It's a great time to date. It's a great time to polish the nails, do the hair, fix up the house. Like work on aesthetics and enjoy your personal aesthetics as well. It's a great time to balance the checkbook and make some financial harmonies happen as well. Really beautiful time to balance out any financial situations. But the square to Mercury is still going to make communication scattered. It's still going to make your speech scattered and your brain scattered. It's going to challenge you in terms of communications coming in, information coming in, and things working correctly. It's almost like just out of retrograde, and technically Mercury still is in shadow. It's like your own mini Mercury retrograde. So those oddities could happen. Not the best time to sign paperwork, but a really good time to take in information and discover things. Okay, let's move on to Sagittarius 3s. If you know that your natal suns are between 20 and 29 degrees Sagittarius, then it's in the third decan of Sagittarius. You guys are Sagittarius 3s. Your birthdays would be end of Sagittarius season, anywhere between December 12th and the 22nd. In and around those dates would cover the birthday time span. Your natal suns are sextile to the north node and sextile to the south node and trine the north node. So there is a shift in your focus now by really finding opportunities because of what you're good at and what you're just naturally accustomed to. You'll start to see that you're blossoming and coming out of your comfort zone and being more comfortable with newer things that you never expected you'd be good with, but you are. And that's your north node influence. Let it help you expand and grow who you are. That's over the next couple of months. We also have a square to the sun if you're at the cusp. So this would be the Capricorn cusp. So essentially December 21st, 22nd, 23rd. Your natal suns by 9/23, by September 23rd, are going to be square the current sun. So that could mean confidence issues this week. That could mean challenges with other people's egos, challenges to your ego, challenges to your visibility, and challenges with just getting up the courage or figuring out what really matters to you. Those things will dissipate. The challenges are put there to help you recognize what is most important to you. We also have a long-term square to Neptune, which can confuse things a bit and make decision making a little bit more difficult. So it's better with that situation to take more time and ask more people that you trust their opinion, to let them help you make decisions, or give yourself more time to make decisions, because it could be harder to focus with that energy. It's also very creative energy, however. So one way to help yourself focus is to get all that distractive Neptunian energy out of your brain by putting it into creative projects that will help you focus that energy into something productive. It's a great time to do that. You also have your natal suns also have a long-term quincunx to Uranus, which means that your independence and individuality will frustrate the crap out of you over the next year. And it will make you want to change frequently and to resist conformity. And anything that rubs that desire the wrong way will become very, very prominent. What this does is encourage your sense of independence, as well as your ability to see how you can rely on yourself and define who you are. It could also start to create friction, however, with other people around you, especially authority figures or anybody that you may have to make or be in a commitment with. Just an FYI, just to let you know. Anyway, guys, I hope you loved this reading, and if you found it really helpful, please do share it with somebody else that you think would find it helpful too. Give it a thumbs up before you click off, and definitely come on over to Born Without Boundaries Tarot for your week ahead tarot card message. I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you in the videos. Bye, guys.